Those numbers that Andrew just gave you are troubling, but they are nothing compared to the impact the recession is having on minorities in America. And as we look at the job numbers for individual minority groups, we start to see unemployment that comes close to what we saw during the worst economic period in American history. For more now on the employment emergency that minorities particularly are facing, I want to bring in Jessica Devereaux, who really has been focusing, especially tonight, on African Americans.
Definitely, Rich. Everyone is feeling the impact of this recession and pressure, but in some groups, the impact is hitting home to a far greater extent. Here's the breakdown by ethnicity. Unemployment is at 5.3% among whites, and even lower, 7.3% for Asian Americans. Both are under the national average of 10%, but for blacks and Latinos, the numbers are much higher than the average. And for blacks, that number is more than 15%. Dig a little deeper and the picture in some corners gets even more worrisome. The unemployment rate for black men in the United States now stands at 17%, meaning nearly 1 in 5, yes, 1 in 5 are now out of work. And that's just the official unemployment number. Factor in underemployment or the black men who have stopped looking for work, and that unemployment number gets even bigger. And within that group of black men, there is another group having even more trouble right now. Young black men ages 16 and 24. The unemployment rate right now is staggering, close to 34%. That's 1 out of every 3 young black men now officially unemployed, a number that rivals the overall unemployment rate during the height of the Great Recession. But of course, those are just the numbers. Behind each stat is a person just trying to find work and begin their own personal recovery through the recession. Beginning that recovery is difficult for everyone in these troubled times, but especially when you're the face of those depressing statistics. Behind the high unemployment rates for black men, there are stories like Dwayne Lattimore's.
Every day you walked in, there was news of another employee that got laid off. And what they would do is they would wait for you by the elevator and walk you into human resources. So every day someone, when you got off the elevator, you looked around the corner, and when you would see them, you would go, is it me? And sometimes they say no, and then of course my day came and that was that.
For the past 7 months, Lattimore says he's been aggressively looking for work, sending out at least 15 resumes a day.
I've walked into companies, I've emailed my resume, I've gone to temp agencies, but nothing definitive has landed.
Landing a job is tough, even if you have a college education. The unemployment rate for black male college graduates is at about 8%. That is double the rate for white men. Cliff Haynes, who was once the only black executive at a multi-million-dollar real estate telecom company, says his college education and experience have actually hurt his chances of getting hired.
Going out, people see my foreign position and then, of course, a salary scale, and think that, of course, I wouldn't be interested in a position as a supervisor or even an entry-level position for that matter. So in a lot of cases, people will tend to just look over my resume and pass me over for that reason.
And for him, looking for work has become a full-time job.
Probably less than 10% would even respond saying that, we've received your application. Then, of course, fewer than that would actually state that, they've reviewed my application and my resume and, of course, considered someone else for the position.
More and more black men are turning to the internet for jobs. Black professional networking sites like amightyriver.com have seen a sharp increase in activity just this year.
We've seen about 1 million unique visitors per month, 10,000 registered visitors per day, and this is all happening now in the height of this most difficult economic time.
This difficult economic time has not left Lattimore discouraged, though. He says with his strong spiritual faith, he's gained the confidence to launch his own business.
You have intelligence, you have skills. It's time for you to take this to the next level. I don't want you to just work for somebody, I want you to provide jobs. So, I'm on my rise at this point.
We got some advice from the professional networking site amightyriver.com as to how job seekers can stay competitive in this flooded market. The first rule is to build a positive online reputation. So when future employers Google your name, they'll find your past accomplishments, which for many employers equates future contributions. Also, it's important to network offline as well. So attend as many networking events as possible to build your contacts. And last but certainly not least, they recommend volunteering. It demonstrates your skills, increases your network, and of course keeps you active by giving back to the community, Rich.
Thank you very much, Jessica.